Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the TNR 150 here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network. Joining me alongside myself, Bob Giaquinto, is Joe Nunziata. And Joe, this is going to be a difficult race for these drivers. 1.5 mile track, typical cookie cutter style. But for whatever reason, a lot of these drivers are having some issues through turns 2 and 4.
Yeah, it seems that way. You could even see down in the chat, John Catanzaro with Shane, you good there? little razzing before we get going here.
Love that. It has been a very fun and interesting practice session for you tonight. But before we get to that, let's take a look at a couple of things to watch out for tonight's race. First of all, you got to save your tires. Charlotte, for whatever reason, is fantastic with eating up tires and really kind of grades them down. Even though it's a fairly new racing surface, you really cannot punish your car. You feel like you should go faster, but we all know that if you do, it is going to shred those Goodyear tires completely up. Another thing, do you take the high line? Do you take the low line? Low line is typically the better way around the track, but as the tires age, you're going to want to try to find more grip up towards the high side. But doing that is going to eat up the tires even more. And once you need new tires, once you need fuel, you got to watch out for pit entry. That can be very treacherous, going off of the banking onto the flat. Very easy to spin out. They have a pit wall there, so watch out for the attenuator there at the beginning of pit wall.
As I just watched someone T-bone themselves into the pits.
So exactly like that. There's
another one right next to him.
So that is one of those things where, it happens a lot, and we're going to be seeing that a lot tonight. Taking a look here at the standings for tonight. A couple of drivers up at the front. The first one is this guy, Tim Johnson here in P2, coming down pit road, making his pit road entry practice. As you can see here, about a minute and a half left as the 25 of Chris Cabot goes sliding backwards along the front. We mentioned getting to pit road is incredibly difficult, and if these guys are racing together in a tight pack, it could get wild. Speaking of wild, the wild child himself, John Catanzaro, is back, and John was telling us before the race that he got himself a replacement wheel, has never used it, never played with the pedals or anything like that. It's a brand new to him wheel. So he said if he locks up, just blame the wheel. It's not driver fault. It's the equipment.
It's always good to go, first day new equipment, just right live, just send it.
Always fun. And he said, he's like, yeah, my the wheel broke last week, so he wasn't able to race with us at Sonoma. And this time around, brand new equipment, just out of the box. Said he borrowed it from a friend. And we'll see. And right now, that equipment's helping him out. He gets real sideways, pulling a Ryan Newman in All-Star practice, or All-Star qualifying. Somehow got that one down on the pit road.
What I'm noticing is all of these times are within 1 second of each other.
Yeah, very, very tight field tonight. And there's 17 drivers so far who've shown up. 18 as Mike Floppy Tellier has not put a lap in. But these cars, they're tough to drive, and seeing everyone within a second of each other, absolutely wild. So the clock is going to tick down. Jason Schue practicing getting onto pit road and gets into the wall pretty hard, but that will do it for practice tonight. So get a great shot looking down pit road. As now these drivers getting ready to jump out and take a practice or take a qualifying run. And it looks like it is full group qualifying out there. So there's going to be a ton of action.
Oh boy.
And with that, one mistake from someone else could really affect your qualifying run. And I was talking with John, this guy here, John Daniels, before the race, and he was saying, lap 1 is kind of your throwaway lap. It's your banker lap. Just go out there, pick up as much momentum as you can, run the high side through 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then lap 2 is going to be your money lap. So let's see what John can do here as we'll jump on board with him. You can hear playing with the throttle just a little bit.
Getting real close to that wall.
And that's where all that speed is, especially in qualifying. Slides right up against the wall. Great job to keep it out. Let's see what lap 1 looks like for John. So Daniels, Cannizzaro there with a 29.97. John Daniels, looks like that first lap did not count for him. He may have a black flag for unsafe entry. Driving down through 3 and 4. Let's see if this lap counts for him. There he goes, top of the board, 29.57 for him. Tim Johnston now top of the board, 29.43 in this number 82. Action coming in hot and heavy. Anthony DeBarro puts his first lap in. That'll slot him up to 7th.
Yeah, it's going to be a close race.
Cannizzaro goes P2, 29.56, beats out Daniels by 1/100th of a second. Philip Scott there in P4. Cannizzaro says, all right, we're going to take it to the pits, get a new set of tires in. Here comes Daniels trying to improve his lap time. Two minutes left, so plenty of time for these drivers to jump to pit road, get a brand new car, get themselves going. Oh, Daniels gets loose hard in the wall. He's going to have to come to a stop quick if he wants to get another attempt at this. There's Cannizzaro coming out. Robert Tripp going by on a hot lap. There's the 27 of DeBarro in the background. Jeff Price coming out to make his first run.
If we're able to keep these times during this race, you could actually count up 56, 57, 58, 61, 64, 65, 72, 73, 71. No, there's another 65. We're tied. This is going to be a pack. This is going to be this should be a real fun one.
Yeah, this is going to be wild to see if these guys can keep this blistering pace up for the race. It's 100 laps tonight here at Charlotte. And this could get wild, as there's Jamar Dumas just in front. Dumas was saying he was having a pretty difficult practice session here, and looks like that luck not really, that bad luck not really leaving him anytime soon. 29.86. Good enough for P12. He'll cross the line that time. He'll pick up a 10th, but still in P12. Now a 29.78. 30 seconds left.
Oh.
Daniels making his out lap. I don't think Daniels is going to be able to get it around. Big slide there. He's trying, giving it all he's got. But I don't think he's going to make it to pick up that green flag. But he's going to try. Let's keep it with Daniels. Oh, Daniels slides, and he's not going to make it. He's going to try to head down pit road.
Oh.
And that is what we were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast. Just watch out for that pit road attenuator, and that thing is going to jump out and bite you.
Yeah, it attenuates very well.
Jeff Price finishing up his laps. Cannizzaro on the backstretch. Here comes Tim Johnston down the backstretch. Jason Schue, the last one to complete a qualifying lap. Let's see what he can do. As Schue goes and crosses the line. Looks like that lap will not count for him. So we are going to move over to the start of tonight's race, TNR 150 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's broadcast. Starting on the pole, driver for Dizzy Motorsports. That would be the number 82 machine of Tim Johnston. In second place is his teammate Anthony DeBarro. Row 3 is John Cannizzaro Jr. And on his outside is the number 02 of John Daniels. Philip Scott and Chris Gabot make up row 3. Jeff Price, Shane Ewing in row 4. Jonathan Gaston and Ace House, one of the newcomers to the league, just started today, is in P10. In row number 6, Danny White in the number 44 machine and Jamar Dumas in 12th. Row number 7 is Robert Tripp and Farrell Robbins. Mike Floppy Tellier and Jason Schue round up row 8. Garrett Gleason and Adam Stewart round out this 18-car field tonight. And Joe, this is just going to be a good time. I am really looking forward to this. 100 laps here at Charlotte. Difficult race, but a fun one as well. All about saving your tires, saving your stuff, but also still trying to battle it out at 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, go as fast as you can. Be careful pitting, be careful driving, be careful steering. It's a lot of careful going fast.
That is for sure, as the field getting ready to move themselves off of pit road or off of the front stretch and get themselves ready to race. The next time these fans see these drivers jumping out, they'll be quickly getting up to speed at 180 plus miles per hour.
Is there any weather we have to worry about with this race tonight?
Should not be too crazy here. Only looks like 4-mile-an-hour winds, 36% humidity, and 79 degrees out for the air temp. Track temp is 81, so plenty of grip tonight for these guys to battle it out. It's going to be interesting, though. Turn 1, lap 1, cold tires, not a lot of grip. This could get interesting, to say the least.
Real interesting, real quick.
Oh, yes. But we have some fantastic drivers up at the front of the pack. Fantastic drivers all throughout this 18-car field. Garrett Gleason was saying that he had a bit of an injury over the weekend, so he's probably just going to be starting and parking. There he is in that Showman's Care machine towards the back of the pack. We'll see how long Garrett is going to stay in this one. Wish you all the best, my friend. But we've got ourselves a race to watch. Pace car slowing down, getting ready to pull off and take that hard left turn down pit road. The field in the hands of the number 82 machine of Tim Johnston. Johnston waiting for the flag in hand. There it is. Green flag is out, and we're racing here at Charlotte. A great start for all involved so far. Side by side, Johnston and DeBarro dive off into turn number 1. Johnston has the preferred line on the inside. There's DeBarro on the outside. DeBarro not quite able to get his run going, as they're going to stay side by side. Cannizzaro just trailing these drivers a little bit further back. Johnston slides up the track ever so slightly. That's going to give DeBarro a good run.
Oh!
And here they are through turn 1, side by side. DeBarro's got it.
huge accident. 25 hit hard. I think that's the end of his race already.
Let's take a look here. Looks like Chris Gabot was the driver we were talking about. And wow. Let's see what happened to Gabot. As here's Gabot. Just got a little bit loose. Could not quite save it enough. Oh, man. Hard lick for the 25 machine. Man, what a tough break. And that is definitely going to be night over for him.
Oof.
Meanwhile, out front, Anthony DeBarro's opened up about a half-second lead over his teammate, Tim Johnston. Cannizzaro there lurking in the back here at P3. Good battle for second going on. Side by side, Cannizzaro to the inside. Johnston might have just grabbed the wall a tiny bit. We'll move Johnston back to third. Cannizzaro in P2. Here comes Philip Scott lurking in the background, currently running P5.
Just maybe like not that. For long.
I was going to say, just like that, there goes Philip Scott. Move him up to fourth. Move John Daniels back to fifth.
Yeah, if I was racing, I think if I saw a pair of eyes and a nose behind me, I don't think I'd want to be in that position.
Yeah, I would absolutely be concerned. Very reminiscent, or at least slightly reminiscent of the old Corey LaJoie face car from Old Spice a couple of years back. Where it was just LaJoie's face and facial hair all over the car. It was nightmare-inducing, to say the least. We got ourselves a pretty good battle here between Tim Johnson and Shane Ewing. Ewing goes to the inside. Johnston falling back a little bit. He's already back to seventh. Wonder if this is just a bit of a strategy for Johnston to say, you know what, I'm not going to push as hard as I can. I'm going to let this race come to me, save some tires, and, you know, who knows? They were saying it's not likely that you would only be able to make it on one stop, but anything really could happen. And with a guy like Tim Johnston, who is fantastic at saving fuel, saving tires, definitely not out of the possibility. They said you'd be slow, but even the fast guys are faster at being slow.
I mean, what a pack up front.
Yeah, let's take a look there at the front of the field right now. Looks like DeBarro able to drive away. But right here, this is John Cannizzaro in the 77. He's currently being hounded heavily by the 99 of Philip Scott. As we jump on board here, there's Cannizzaro in the cockpit. With the old Mopar scheme. A couple of Dodges battling out. 3 Dodges, actually, there in the top 5. As we look back at Philip Scott, you can really hear Cannizzaro having to throttle, play with that throttle, feather it just a little bit, just to make sure the car is driving on the right rear. You're not plowing with the right front. Really kind of helps you be propelled essentially through the corner. All about worrying about the physics and balance of the vehicle. We're having ourselves a pretty dang good race so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how many issues the drivers were having during the practice. to now kind of just, doing their thing.
It is definitely wild to see the difference in practice versus race. Because in practice, you're like, nah, I wreck, whatever, I'll get a brand new car. In the race, you wreck, your night's over. Only one driver out of the race, for now at least, is the 25 of Chris Cabot. It says he's still on pit road, but he very well could be out of the race. Had some hard damage on lap 1. Just got a little bit loose to the 3 and 4, sideways, and nailed the pit wall right at the divider.
Yeah.
And looks like another car heading down pit road. That's Garrett Gleason.
Wonder what that's about. It's really early.
Yeah, I think that might be Garrett saying, all right, I've done a couple of laps. I'm good. I'm going to head down. Just kind of be the eye in the sky for tonight. He was saying that a little bit earlier in the race, just because of that the injury that he had over the weekend. So tough break there for Garrett. Wishing him the best. And G, if you're watching the broadcast, feel free to jump in and join in as the third man in the booth. We'll never say no to that. Bring back old times, because we always need to make fun of some of these guys, especially Cannizzaro. So right now we have a pretty decent battle brewing right around 5th place. Actually, looks like 7th on back. Jeff Price is there in 7th. Shane Ewing and Ace House following. Awesome to see a couple of new faces out there on track, Ace being one of them. Ace is a friend of Adam's and was watching these races. He was in the chat last week, and now he's out there on the racetrack this week. Everyone fairly spread out for the most part. Ace will jump on board with Ace. Another guy having himself a pretty good run so far is going to be this guy, the 4 of Adam Stewart. He's up 5 spots from the green flag, and just running consistent laps. He was kind of joking earlier in the Discord chat, saying, hopefully this race the only reason I'll ever have to be on camera is when everyone else runs out of fuel, and here I go coasting across the finish line to win. But so far, knock on wood, not giving the broadcaster's curse, but having himself a pretty solid run as we inch closer to the quarter mark of tonight's contest. So Anthony DeBarro still your leader. Constantly running right around 30s. Very constant lap times, 35, 36, 37, 38, 38. Just about a 10th here and there. But as we see here, 20 laps into this one. Oh, we got a little loose there. Might have caught the apron a tiny bit. But DeBarro able to keep that one strong. A little bit further back in the pack, Shane Ewing putting on some pressure. Danny White goes low, drifts up the track just a little bit. And if you're just joining us in the chat, make sure you pop in and say hey. Let us know who you're cheering for. Who do you want to see out there on track? And as always, We'd love it if you like, follow, subscribe, comment, all the YouTuber stuff. That really does help us get these drivers out there in front of as many eyes as possible, and also helps us as a channel grow too.
Yes. Your support is much appreciated, as well as it is for the drivers you cheer for.
Speaking of some great drivers, there's Shane Ewing, the 32, having himself a pretty quiet race so far. Shane up one spot from the drop of the green flag. Currently running in P7. Another guy having a good night. It's this guy, Jamar Dumas. He said he was struggling early on and throughout practice, just having a hard time keeping it going in the right direction. And he said his optimal lap times, according to iRacing, were just around those of the leaders. And he was saying turns 3 and 4 were kind of his difficult spot out there on the track.
Well, hopefully that's not foreshadowing anything towards the end of the race.
That's for sure. And he's got a pretty good line going there through 3 and 4, just above that seam. As long as you're not riding on the seam, you can go below the seam, you can go above the seam. Whatever way kind of is the best to pick up as much time as you can. So far, he's really liking that high line. As I said, that he goes to the lower line this time by.
It's got to keep you on your toes.
Oh, yeah. We're sitting there making sure, making sure he's able to pick up as many laps, different lines rather, as possible. As he's right now running 10th, trying to track down Ace House.
Does seem he is running about half a second a lap behind the leader.
As we say that, there's a big battle going right now for second. Johnston has it. Cannizzaro going after him. Cannizzaro down low, takes a peek. Philip Scott says, hey, I'm going to jump in and get involved too. Scott goes high, Cannizzaro goes low. Little bit of a bobble as he crosses the seam, able to jump right in front of that 99. But here comes Scott. He's got a bumper on him. Can't quite hold the position there. Cannizzaro still slides up. That puts Scott up into the wall. So Philip Scott's going to have to regroup just a little bit. Now he's going to have the momentum next time by if they're able to keep the same distance. Scott running just a little bit higher than the 77 of Cannizzaro, just looking to pick up as much momentum as he can. Runs the high line. He's going to drive down low, try to get a run off the corner. Here comes Philip Scott all over the back bumper. He's going to take a peek to the inside. Can he get there? They're side by side into turn number 3. Philip Scott runs the bottom. Lets the car drift up a little bit, gets on the power, and he's going to clear Cannizzaro fairly easily. But now here comes Cannizzaro back to the inside. Dogfight for second. 70 laps to go. Plenty of racing. These guys are fighting like there's 5 to go.
Yeah. Now, what does that do to your tires? Are they pushing each other a little bit more? Are they kind of still holding back a little bit? What are your thoughts?
I think if they're fighting for that long, they're definitely putting in a lot more heat into the tires, and heat is going to increase wear, and it just makes it difficult all in all. But that being said, there's only probably 15 laps, so you're 2/3 of the way into your stint. Everyone's kind of leveled out right now with tire temps, so I don't know if something like that was only a couple of laps is really going to affect the tires all that much, especially this late in a run. But early on, yeah, that would have done a lot more damage.
Got it.
So Philip Scott runs the high line. Cannizzaro back in fourth. He's fallen back a little bit. Oh, John Daniels catches the wall a little. Let's take a look at that, see what happened to the driver of the 0-2. Looks like he might have just gotten a little bit loose. Comes out of 2. Yeah, looks like it just a little loose, got into the wall. Able to pull it off, though. iRacing can be notorious sometimes for what a lot of people on the service call wall glue, where you just get a little loose, you get stuck up to the wall, and it's almost impossible to take your car off the wall. So he's able to avoid the wall glue, the sticky stuff up there. And he's back to running in P5 at the moment. Good battle here between House as well as Dumas. Danny White putting some pressure here on Shane Ewing as well.
Yeah, they were battling each other a little bit. Who's faster out of the turn, who's faster in the turn, but it seems like Ewing has gained a little bit.
Yeah, let's take a look here this time by. And yeah, Ewing picking up about a tenth a second a lap, give or take. But as we say that, little tiny bobble from the 32, that let White catch up just a little bit more. A little bit further up, Jeff Price now putting the pressure on the 0-2. And Anthony DeBarro heads down pit road. Very early, I think, for these guys. They're saying the pit window is about 45-ish laps, maybe 40 laps.
Wonder if he's trying the long technique.
Very well could. I mean, you know, if you pit now, maybe he's banking on a caution. I think that could be difficult, to say the least, as Tim Johnston heads down pit road. So the Dizzy guys might be trying something, as here's the 0-2 of John Daniels coming down. Oh, sideways. Somehow able to stay that one, keep that one staying straight. Wow. Danny White heading down pit road as well. Johnston lands in his box. There comes Daniels. Crew going around. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for all of these.
I guess this is one of those, oh, you're not going to try something crazy without us kind of situations.
Yeah. Definitely felt like one of those, well, I mean, I might as well try it.
Right. I don't know what their plan is, but I'm in.
Sounds crazy. Let's do it. House is on pit road. Farrell Robbins heads down pit road as well. So that leaves only the top 8 drivers who have yet to come down pit road. Robert Tripp heads down there too. And Joe, I don't know about you, but I typically, for me, I like to run the first stint as long as humanly possible, just to give me enough time on the back end. You know, just to try to pick up as much, you know, as much time as I can, pick up some lap time, and who knows, maybe I can get lucky and steal a yellow flag, keep the whole field a lap down. I can go down and pit, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a track where, like, you know, we're 38 laps in, you've lost 5 or 6 seconds on a lap, I could see, like, maybe now's the time to pit. But they only lost about 1.5 seconds per lap from start to where they're pitting. So it's a very interesting technique because you've still got 60 to go.
Yeah, and I think for me at least, maybe I'm even thinking now that you say that there's 60 to go. DeBarro and those guys came in around lap 30, like 35, we'll say. 35 laps from then is lap 70. Once you've pit on lap 70, you're good to go the rest of the way.
Right.
So I really do think that those guys coming down pit road first, now that I think about it, yeah, that might have been the right strategy there. As, Shane Ewing thought about coming to pit road, couldn't quite get it going.
We'll get him next time.
And he kicks it sideways. That was a hard slide. As it sounded like an iRacing engine exploded, but that might have been from Garrett Gleason on pit road. Let's see if Ewing comes down pit road this time. He does not. So a couple of different strategies now, Joe. One group running it as long as possible, maybe try to catch a yellow and kind of equalize. Another group saying, nope, we are committed to the two-stop strategy. We're going to pit in probably around lap 70 now. I could honestly see both strategies being feasible here.
Yeah. I think if they grab a yellow, it'll definitely throw a wrench in a couple plans. But I don't know. This could go. This is one of those things where every time I'm like, I think now that happened, this will be it, and then the race completely ends differently. So I'm not really sure where we can go with this one.
Well, Jason Schue heads down pit road now. 32 Shane Ewing lets Cannizzaro go by, who's on fresh tires. Yeah, and I think right now there's only 4 cars that have yet to pit. This driver, right. Shane Ewing. Jamar Dumas here in the 28 machine. Jonathan Gaston in this number 72. And Adam Stewart here in the 4. So those drivers, the only ones who have not pit. Anthony DeBarro, as we just see him get around Adam, he was the first one down pit road back on lap 35.
Right.
He's already up to 4th. And his gap between the next driver who was down on pit road was the 82 of Tim Johnston. That's about a 5-ish second gap that he's going to have now over Johnston. As we say that, looks like Adam Stewart makes his way down pit road. And then there were 3 that have yet to pit. Here
I wonder if they're going to...
Nope. Here's Ewing heading down pit road. Taking it nice and easy as Shane comes down. Gaston gets around them. Jamar Dumas heads on pit road. He makes it safely. So this time by, should Gaston make it, everyone has cleared pit road for the first time. As DeBarro says, yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
I wonder if Gaston... Oh, a little bit in the wall there. I wonder if he's going to try to get to an even 50.
I would have said that, but nope, he heads down pit road.
I really thought that was his play. He's like, I'm going to try to pit once.
So Mr. Gaston, as his kids call him, heads down pit road and relinquishes the lead. That's going to give it back to this guy. 27 of Anthony DeBarro. He's got Tim Johnston in that black and gold machine just all the way behind him. So the gap, 5 seconds. That's how much time DeBarro was able to pick up over Johnston. As Gaston is in his box, and he's down and away. Good 15-second stop for him and his crew. And this is the best battle on track right now. John Daniels trying to pick up Philip Scott.
A fantastic clean race too.
Completely agreed. And you know, you and I were kind of talking before the race, the amount of huge wrecks that were going on in practice. And I know a lot of the time practice, a lot of drivers will sit there and they'll run their hot laps. They'll run long runs, short runs. But they'll also go out and be like, huh, if I make my car slide, can I save it? And so far, it looks like the answer is yes. We had that huge save by Shane Ewing earlier, as well as DeBarro having himself a pretty big save, too.
Yeah, see, I don't have to practice doing that. It just happens all the time.
The spinning or the saving?
Yes.
Picking up some good action here between the 44 of Danny White, trying to track down Jeff Price. "52 laps into this machine, or into this race." As we see Jason Schue putting some pressure on the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. This is for position. Right now, looks like Shane Ewing, should a caution come out, would be our lucky dog recipient. Meaning once the yellow comes out, he'll get the free pass and get his lap back. Let's see if we can pick up this battle for the lucky dog. There is the 32 of Shane Ewing. And the Kevin Harvick inspired 29, that is Robbins. You can barely see the red and white speck of paint in the background. That is the battle for the lucky dog. And as we see that, looks like Jeff Price able to get around Danny White. Price just running the bottom, able to get around the 44 of White. And John Cannizzaro able to get around the 02 of John Daniels, too. Oh, man, they got close. Looked like Daniels was thinking about going low, but he had Cannizzaro there in the background. As we'll head back to live action, here's our leader, Anthony DeBarro. Looks like the Ace House fan section has joined the chat. There is Ace. Both Stephanie and Ryan Newman fans say, go Ace. Ace having himself a pretty good race so far. Currently in 8th. Any other words that sound like Ace possible? But Ace up 2 from where he started in 10th. Currently having himself a really, really good run. First run here at the Total Nonstop Racing League. Here comes Jamar Dumas looking to get around him. Dumas all the way back in 15th, 1 lap down. So this is not a pass for position. Oh, it looks like Ace grabbed the wall just a little bit. But all is right in the world. All is well.
Just dusting it off.
Yeah, just clean it off. Had a little dust on the side of the wall and said, all right, I'm good. It's all spider. That's all it was.
That's all. I also think it's pretty fantastic that Ace went from watching the races over here on YouTube and Twitch with us to joining the races. Pretty fantastic feel on our end to kind of get the community to grow.
Right, and that's, you know, that's what this is all about. You know, I love doing everything I can for TNR. I've told this story a bunch of times. I've been racing with these TNR guys since I was, a freshman, sophomore in high school. And here I am now, almost 20 years later. Probably closer to 16, 17, somewhere in that ballpark, but been running with these guys long enough. As we saw Shane Ewing get his lap back over the 27 of DeBarro.
Oh.
They're
Oh,
teammates.
oh, two. Daniels.
Oh, trouble. Daniel's facing the wrong way. No yellow yet? How is
I
that
think his
even
tire-
possible?
I think one of his tires is busted.
The automatic yellows are apparently turned off.
Looks like he's heading pit.
Wow. Well, we'll take a look at that one on replay. I am honestly shocked that there's no yellow there. Let's see what happened to the O2. And he was around for quite a while. Let's jump on board with the O2. Yep, just along that seam. And he's facing backwards. No yellow. Thought about going. How is there no yellow? Oh, Shane Ewing almost
Oof.
gets into him. Oh, my word. I don't know what happened there, but what a tough break for that 0-2 machine.
Looks like he's back out. I wonder if he grabbed a set of tires or figured out how fuel while I'm here. Maybe I don't need to fuel again.
I mean, he is in the realm of being able to do it all the way now. Now that he's back around, I am surprised that there was no caution, whether manual or otherwise.
Yeah.
But the O2 goes around, and he's going to have the freshest tires now. He's definitely going to be the guy to keep an eye out for. Obviously, 2 laps down, and if there's a yellow, you know, he's going to have to fight a long way through, but he's definitely going to be the fastest driver on track at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder how the damage he has, if any, besides cosmetic. I wonder if he actually has any, real damage.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it wasn't like he hit the wall all that hard, but at the same time, one little hit.
Yeah, I see his bumper's missing a piece in the driver's side, so I don't know.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the O2. Yeah, driver's side, left front looking pretty beat up. The left rear's looking decent.
Yes, that's my only. I wonder if he has a little bit of a lean on his tire or something now, or if that was just bumper.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Let's see if we can pull up his lap times. I know it's going to be comparing his to Jamar Dumas's. But, yeah, I mean, he's been running 30.7, 30.3, 30.6. So, I mean, he's back to running the same lap times that the rest of the field was running on fresh tires. So, I don't see that damage really affecting him too much.
Well, that's good.
Meanwhile, the Ace House fan group chiming in some more. Justin House in the chat says, "Go Ace, your bro's rooting for you." The main J also saying, "Let's go Ace."
I would throw up a poll to see who would win, but I feel like maybe it's a little stacked right now.
Right now, this driver is leading. That's the 27 of Anthony DeBarro. We'll jump on the back bumper. There's a little black speck in the distance getting ready to enter turn 3. That is his teammate and second place driver, Tim Johnston. And then we're going to have to wait a whole 10 seconds between Johnston and Scott, who's currently running in P3. We'll take a little through the field action. That is your leader, Anthony DeBarro. Tim Johnston here slowly starting to track him down. We'll take a look at the lap times for these guys. Johnston has been faster over the last 5 laps. Little under 1/10 of a second, though, so it's pretty negligible regardless.
I don't know, over 30 laps. That might be enough.
And don't forget, Joe, pit stops are coming up for these guys. We were saying somewhere around lap 70 that pit stops could happen. So we'll see if these pit stops could maybe throw a little wrench in the works.
Yeah.
We have Adam Stewart heading down pit road, looking to make his final stop. Here comes the 82 of Johnston. No, he's not pitting. Sounded like he was off the gas for a little while, so I was thinking he was going to be heading down pit road, but that's not the case. We'll look here in third is this guy, the number 99 of Philip Scott. He's got John Cannizzaro closing in on his back bumper. Scott started in P5, currently running in third. We'll take a look here. John Cannizzaro, the Stay Tuned Sports Machine. If you're looking for a sports podcast, Jimbo and the crew over at Stay Tuned Sports are fantastic. Based out of the Wilkes-Barre area. As here comes Cannizzaro making his way down pit road. Big Philly sports fan, Jimbo is. So I'm sure he's watching the Eagles play right now. Don't worry, I don't have it on while I'm broadcasting. Otherwise, I totally would.
Who are they playing?
The Falcons at home.
Let's go Falcons.
On, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is that. No, it's not Nick Foles' retirement night. But here's DeBarro coming out of turn 2. He's tracking down Ace House there. Pit stop still getting ready to come. Here's Adam Stewart, rather, in the background. He gets around, or trying to get around, the 82 of Johnston. Stewart pitted back a couple of laps ago. There's Shane Ewing heading down pit road, too. And, Tim Johnston heads down pit road, as does DeBarro. And DeBarro and House both pitting. This is the gap right now, Joe.
Yeah.
This very well could be the race for the win.
Yep, Scott grabs first.
Depending on how these drivers are able to make it into their box. Oh, the 82 overshoots his box.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be a little bit slower there for Johnston. 27 down and away. 82 waiting. Now he's down and away.
Ooh. That couple seconds, though, is going to...
So Johnston loses just a little bit, but that isn't for DeBarro. Jeff Price makes his way down pit road. Farrell Robbins already in his box. Jeff Price, like I just mentioned there. Let's see, is Philip Scott coming? Here comes Philip Scott hard into pit road, able to keep it woed down and right there at the line for pit road speed. So far, so good as Jamar Dumas heads down. Money stop for all of these drivers.
And now here's the question. The guys that are out right now, do they have enough to go the whole race?
Looks like they should. Well, that is a great question. Seeing as though DeBarro and Johnston were leading when they pit and they're already back out with the lead, I don't really see a world where a guy like maybe Jason Schue, Jonathan Gaston can make it. Schue pitted on lap 43. Looks like Jonathan Gaston on lap 48. Everyone else in the 70s. The only one I could really see it making it the rest of the way is this guy, the 0-2 of John Daniels. But Daniels being a lap down now, I don't really see that one happening. But crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Would a yellow put him into a position?
As of right now, should a yellow come out, Daniels would get the free pass. As, Ace House hard in the wall. He knows that The O2 has the free pass position. He's pushing hard. Now he's got the 82 rather, just behind him. This is a battle for position between the 47 of House and the O2 of Daniels. Johnston just kind of there as he gets around the O2. And here comes House looking to capitalize. House takes a peek to the inside. Can't quite get anything going there. Now Ace right on the back bumper of the O2 of Daniels, drafting all the way down the back straightaway. House to the inside. They're side by side with the O2 of Daniels. Daniels slides up the track, and House says, "Thank you very much. I'm getting going with my fresh tires." So we'll move Ace House back up to P9. Daniels back to 10th. Now House is in the lucky dog spot.
So you got a bunch of these guys kind of hoping for a yellow.
So right here is your pit stop graph and the last time they were on pit road. So we see there DeBarro, Johnston, Canizaro, your top 5 all pitted recently. Jonathan Gaston, the only one who has not pitted recently, and that was back on lap 48.
He's been out there a while, huh?
He has, and you know, if you think about it, he went 48 laps on the first tank, going 48 laps on the second tank, 48 and 48, 6 carry the one, that's 96. So he's going to be about 4 to 5 laps short unless he's in super fuel save mode or praying that there's a caution.
Right.
But I think at this moment, I don't see really a path for Gaston to really be able to say, all right, I can go the rest of the way. And at this point, too, Gaston is so far back.
Yeah.
That strategy might actually wind up hurting him as he's about to go a lap down now. So we'll move Gaston back 1 lap down. Same with White. He and White are fighting pretty hard. Now for the lucky dog. As the leader's in heavy lap traffic. 18 laps to go. For this guy here, Anthony DeBarro. 4-second lead over Tim Johnston. But with him being in lap traffic, who knows? Jonathan Gaston heads down pit road now.
So 17 to go. He's going to have real fresh tires, but he's a lap behind.
Yeah, and depending on where he comes out, he very well could be in danger going 2 laps down.
Yeah.
Let alone 1, seeing as though he pitted as the 27 was lapping him. And he usually wind up losing about a lap, maybe a little over a lap in pit road. So there goes the leader. And Gaston still in his pit box, so we'll move Gaston 2 laps down now. Quick stop for him. But unfortunately, it looks like he's further back now on P15. Best he could finish, should there be no yellows, 12th. So there's your gap from first to second. 4 seconds is the time. Then we're going to have to go 9 seconds back. Oh,
Nope.
Daniels hardened the wall. Looked like he was just trying to get up and out of the way for the 77. Daniels just clobbered the outside wall as Philip Scott gets around him. This is going to be a good battle. 15 to go. Here comes Philip Scott, and then the flying 72 of Jonathan Gaston. Look at that rocket ship and the speed difference between these drivers.
Yeah.
That just shows how important fresh tires are.
It's a crazy difference.
So Philip Scott trying to claw back some time to the back bumper of Cannizzaro. And at this point, this is just a fight to see who gets to be interviewed. Because then from Scott to Jeff Price is another 11 seconds. Price and Ewing, about 4 seconds separates those guys as well. There's Jeff Price, looking to get around the 29 of Robbins. Price running the high line, Robbins running lower. 12 laps remaining in this one. Here comes DeBarro trying to put his teammate Shane Ewing a lap down. Ewing says, all right, bud, go for it. You got this. Now only 5 cars left on the lead lap as the 27 gets a little bit of a bobble there out of 2. Tires really should not be a factor. If anything, they're probably just feeling a little slow. Drivers just getting a little frustrated with how the car is running at the moment.
I think he pitted back lap 73, so not too old.
As we ride on board now with the Tabletop Trio drone. It's a wonder this thing's able to keep up with these cars.
Right.
180 miles an hour at the line in this drone, keeping up with no problems. So there goes DeBarro. Right there. Here comes Tim Johnston right there. We're going to have to wait a while for Philip Scott, who's right here entering the backstretch. With Cannizzaro just to his inside. This is going to be a good battle, Joe.
Yeah, 0.1-ish second.
Here comes Cannizzaro side by side trying to get his nose in. He's going to fall in line behind the 99. Scott goes defensively there. Runs up high. Now here's Cannizzaro trying to get a run, but Philip Scott says, no, I'm going to block you. Down the back straightaway. 8 laps remaining. Now more 7 as DeBarro crosses the line.
You can see every now and then when they exit, their tail end just wiggles just a little bit.
And the more that happens, the warmer the rear tires get, which means the less grip you're going to have coming out of the corner, which means the more you're going to be sideways, and the cycle just repeats. But if you're just tuning in, this is going to be a barn burner for P3 at the moment. Anthony DeBarro walking away with this one, 3.5 seconds ahead over his teammate Tim Johnston.
So you getting that? You saw him get a little sideways?
Yeah, just ever so slightly, maybe a little too much gas out of the corner. Maybe too much gas into the corner. So easy to slide these things. There's a lot of power that goes back to those 2 tires.
Yeah.
5 laps remaining. Philip Scott takes the high line. As we jump on board. Let's go on board with the 77 of John Cannizzaro. You can hear him feathering the throttle just a little bit. Just trying to keep it going in the right direction. Try to keep all the power on the back wheels. Oh, big loose there. Well, we've got 4 laps to go. And this guy, Anthony DeBarro, is leading. To the line, 3 to go. The gap, 3.6 seconds. As this time by, DeBarro faster than Johnston. 2.5 laps to go. There's Johnston in the background. He's got to deal with 2 lapped cars. This time, DeBarro comes across the line. That's a 31.3. Johnston just a little bit slower again. I'm sure those lapped cars aren't exactly helping.
I could imagine no.
White flag in the air for Anthony DeBarro. Will he be able to make it around and get himself another victory on the season? That time, Johnston 3/100ths of a second faster, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Down the backstretch, one more time. Hooks the bottom. Nice and clear, coming out of turn number 4. Anthony DeBarro is going to win here at Charlotte.
What a showing.
DeBarro comes home first. Tim Johnston in second. This is going to be the battle for third. Philip Scott opened up about a 3-second lead over Cannizzaro. As Schue slides it across the line, there goes Philip Scott. In front of them, Ace House finishing P8. There's Cannizzaro coming across the line. Here's Jeff Price going to finish in 5th. Shane Ewing has already finished. So a great run for Anthony DeBarro. And here's DeBarro getting ready to burn this one down, waiting for his teammates to show up. That's how big of a gap he had. As he still waits. So let's see if we can pull our top guys in. As looks like Jeff Price wanted to go say hi to the pit wall. Well, let's go ahead and we'll start moving these guys into the interview waiting room. See if we could find Philip as well. As Anthony DeBarro is going to burn this one down. I believe, Joe, you've caught up with our 3rd place finisher, Philip Scott.
Hey, how are you, Philip?
Hey.
Congratulations on your 3rd place showing. You had a little bit of a fight there for it at the end. What was going through your mind during the race?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So the track was a little cooler than I was expecting, which is fine. Which that means, I didn't have to worry about getting loose as much. It was still pretty sketchy. These cars are pretty loose inherently, but it was a lot of fun just being up there racing. You could lots of different lines you could take. I was really good in the first stint, but then the second stint I tried to save a little. I forgot that it was cold out, and so I kind of just forgot to push and so my second stint, I kind of was just, or then for my last stint, because I knew that John had gotten me on the undercut, so I knew I was going to have a few seconds to gain on him, but I knew that if I ran a few seconds longer, then a few laps longer, and then I pit a few laps after, I found at the end of my second stint a good line. Like the top came in really good at the end, so I was kind of using the top and middle a lot, and just trying to be smooth with the throttle, not overheating the rears, and eventually I caught up to him. And then it's always hard to get by Johnny. He's super fast, super good dirt track guy, and so I've raced with him for a long time, so I knew it was going to be hard to get by him. So I was just once I got up to him with like 15 to go, I was with like around that much. I'm like, I wasn't too worried because I knew we would put it. I was just happy because we had like a 10-second buffer to the next car behind us, so I was just like, let's have some fun battle. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were slide jobbing and everything. It was a lot of fun. It's great.
Awesome. Well, congrats again. Do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, obviously shout John for the really fun race, and yeah, shout outs to American Edge Warrior, because I'm going to be I won't be here in 2 weeks for the Atlanta doubleheader because I'm kind of going to be competing in Las Vegas in real life. So yeah, so it's not because I trust me, it's not an excuse because I'm bad at super speedways.
Well, that's awesome, and congrats for that. And thanks so much for taking some time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was our second place finisher, Philip Scott, and joining us now in the booth, if I can get everything squared away for a change, I'm sitting now with our second place finisher, Tim Johnston. And Tim, great qualifying effort there, good run there for you tonight, coming home P2. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, we had a great run. I think what I probably did was go a little too conservative on that first run. I think if I would have pushed it a little bit harder, I'd have been a little closer to him. Thought I had a chance on the last pit stop because I got onto pit road so good, but he just jumped me out of the pits and drove away and kind of sat there for the last 30 laps.
And, you know, we're talking about that. I was wondering actually out loud during that first stint, because I saw you start sliding back just a little bit, second, third, all the way down to maybe seventh at one point. And I was wondering if it was just trying to save tires, let the other guys go and say, all right, I know I'm going to be faster towards the end. Was that kind of the idea?
Yeah, when we went green, I tried to push it the first lap to get those 5 bonus points to lead a lap. But after that, it was pretty much conserve mode. To see how well the tires would be towards the end of the run. They were pretty good, but I think, like I said, I'd saved just a little too much. I probably should have, instead of falling back to 7th, maybe tried to stay 3rd or 4th.
And, you know, taking a look now to next week, racing at Pocono, fairly difficult track for a lot of people. How do you think your chances are going to be looking at the Tricky Triangle next week?
Definitely hoping for a top 5. I have a love-hate relationship with Pocono, mostly hate. Usually I don't finish those races. So I am really just hoping for a top 5. It is by far my worst oval track. I have never felt comfortable in any oval car on that track. So my goal next week is to finish and try for a top 5.
Fair enough. Well, Tim, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout-outs, so let's hear them.
I just want to thank all my teammates at Disney Motorsports. Congrats to Ann on the win. Thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Everybody at TNR for putting this on every week, and all the fans that tune in to watch those great broadcasts, and also all the drivers. Another, flawless race with no yellows. So can't say enough about how good the drivers are in this league.
Awesome. Well, Tim, congratulations again, and looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Pocono.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See you next week.
All right. That was our second place finisher, Tim Johnston. And I believe, Joe, you have caught up with our winner down in Victory Lane, driver of the number 27 machine, Anthony DeBarro. Go for it, Joe.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations on your number 1 race today. did your strategy kind of change as the race go on, or was this all according to plan?
Well, initially, I thought we only had 2 sets of tires in the pits, and then I glanced over, and I was like, oh, we have 3. So, if it was 2, I would have stretched that first run. And I kind of I felt like I was one of the first ones on pit road, even though I had like a lead. I just thought, you know what, let me split this race kind of in the thirds. I think we did 35, 35, and like, or 36 and 28 at the end, and it just worked out. I mean, we didn't get a caution, but I wanted to have an extra set of tires left over. God forbid we get a caution with 10 to go, 5 to go. There was so much fall off, and the tires wore out pretty good. So you would want that set up in the pits.
Yeah, that makes sense. Were there any sections of the tracks that you kind of felt were like your bread and butter on this race?
It's tough to say. I mean, it was really like the car. You drive down the corner, and if you overdrove it, you kind of would get a little bit tight, and then it would just get into like a snap loose, and then later in the run, it was just so unpredictable with the rear tires. Like you would just think you'd run the same like amount of throttle on exit as you did the lap before, and the thing would jump sideways. So you had to really be, paying attention. If you lose judgment for a second, you could just. A couple times I keyed up to the guys, and I was like, wow, I'm like, I almost just threw it away right there.
Well, you obviously didn't. You pulled it out. It was a fantastic race. Do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, thank you guys for putting this broadcast on. I look forward to watching it after. I try to review the race and just get the point of view of like see. Obviously, I'm just driving, so I can't see what else is going on, but I like to watch the broadcasts and the guys at Garrett and the guys at the admins at TNR, just keep putting this on for us and letting us come out and have fun every Monday night.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Congrats again, and good luck next week in Pocono.
Thank you.
Awesome. That is our winner of tonight's race, driver the number 27 machine, Anthony DeBarro. And, well, Joe, this has been a very, very fun race tonight. Let's take a look at the race results here at Charlotte as DeBarro walks away with this one pretty handily. Wins it by just over 3.5 seconds over his Dizzy Motorsports teammate Tim Johnston. Philip Scott comes home in third. John Cannizzaro comes home fourth. Jeff Price in fifth. Shane Ewing in sixth, 1 lap down. Danny White, Ace House, comes home in eighth. Good first race debut here for TNR for Ace. Farrell Robbins comes home ninth. John Daniels comes home in 10th. Only 1 lap down after spinning it in turn 4, able to get it corrected, fixed, and back out on the racetrack. Jonathan Gaston in 11th. Robert Tripp in 12th. Jamar Dumas 13th. Adam Stewart with a good run in 14th. Jason Schue 15th. Garrett Gleason out of the race in 16th. Chris Gabot in 17th. And Mike Floppy Tellier in 18th and last. Well, Joe, as we said, next week, taking a look at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, one of the tracks on the schedule that you and I have both actually been to in person.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to next week?
Oh, turn 3 is going to be a fun one. That's always that's where I stayed when I was out in the grass filming when we were out there. So I'll be looking for my grass patch and those exits.
That is definitely going to be a fun race next week. So make sure you tune in next Monday night, right around 8 o'clock Eastern, here on the Tabletop Trio network of channels between YouTube as well as Twitch. Make sure you check us out online, tabletoptrio.com. That's got the whole list of events, whether you're looking for the Total Nonstop Racing League, Speed Xfinity Series that we broadcast here Tuesday nights at 9, and the Tabletop Trio podcast ourselves, where we go live every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock as we talk about hobbies and the people that enjoy them. So, this has been a very fun race. And, well, the only thing to say is, well, I'm Bob.
No, I'm Joe.
This has been the Tabletop Trio podcast, broadcasting Total Nonstop Racing League here at Charlotte. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.